For just under 2,000 years, the religious self-consciousness with its focal points in governance has flourished uninterrupted by the cosmic or Christ consciousness. With the bloody cleansing of the lower realm in the early post-Jesus era, whatever elements of the cosmic thoughts were left active in the realm was converted to a religious thought. Many believe that there is a demarcation between religion and state, but this has never been and will never ever be. The state is religion and religion is the state. This made cleansing of the lower realm very easy. Working in unison, the bloody massacre was undertaken, and those who identified themselves with the Christ or cosmic thought were expelled from the realm. Today, we take you on a journey that starts at the very beginning. But when we speak of the beginning, we are making reference to a specific point in time, for there is really no beginning. The cosmos is cyclical. Being cyclical means the beginning is at the end, and the cycle is marked by three major events. These are evolution, involution, and rest. Sit tight as we make our journey to retrieve the missing piece in the spiritual puzzle. We have been sailing in uncharted ocean where the cosmic thought is concerned. We have seen many calling themselves the returned Christ, and the word Christianity has become synonymous to religion. Most of us who grew up in a culture that has had Christianity as its focal point or institutionalized religion believe that Jesus came to make a few adjustments to the Judaic religion. And even among scholars this very day, there are conferences being held as individuals seek for a consensus on what to dispose of and what should be kept in the Reform Judaic movement that calls itself Christianity. Yes, Christianity is Reformed Judaism, although some scholars have pointed out elements of paganism and Gnosticism in this belief system. It is by far a reformation of the Judaic belief system. For those of us who are prophetically inclined, the year 1945 may seem significant. It is considered to be a year in which an outstanding spiritual event took place. While there are no consensus on what this event might have been, the two most common suggestions are: 1. The year marked the beginning or the end of the last generation before the closing of another spiritual cycle for the lower realm, and 2. The year marked the return of the Christ. What we know is that accompanying the year 1945 was a religious fervor. Religious preachers and teachers and speakers heightened the emotional effect of their audience by sounding the trumpet of the second coming of the Christ. Now, we had a repeat of this event among the religious leaders at the close of 1999 as well. But today, as we speak, Jesus Christ has not yet returned, or so we think. Notice that I have added the word Jesus to Christ. Jesus Christ has not returned. Religious leaders waited and waited. With the apparent delay, many have begun to preach a new gospel. This gospel is the gospel of abundance. So, instead of an anticipation of the coming of Jesus Christ, there is heightened expectancy of a new house, a new car, a vacation on a cruise ship, just to name a few. But did Jesus delay his coming? Or is there a misrepresentation of who or what should be returning? Is it Jesus that should be returning? Or is it the Christ? Can or should the word Jesus and the word Christ be used interchangeably? Was Jesus called Christ, Chrest, or Chresto? Was Jesus' followers called Christians or Christians? To answer these questions, we need to take a journey back in time. It is strongly believed that the earliest form of the term Christian did not occur until Codex Alexandrinus, which is in the 5th century Common Era, and that the word Christian may not have entered the chronological record until much later. Instead of the word Christian, what the early writings had was Christian or Christians. The word Christ in all the Greek manuscript sources has been encrypted along with some other theological terms. And this encryption is done in accordance with an abbreviation known as the nomina sacra, which is the Latin for sacred names. And so, in these manuscripts, one cannot distinguish the words Christ or Christo from the words Chrest or Chresto. It is worth noting, however, that the early papyri make reference to the term Christian, creation, and not Christian. But the distinction is ignored completely by modern day biblical scholars. It is also worth noting that the papyrology unit within the University of Oxford for the 3rd century Common Era renders the term creations as Christians. There are many reasons given for doing this, but the most common reason is that the early scribes may have included some misspelling of the word. But we would believe that if the word was misspelled, it would have at least been correctly spelled in some instances. And we would also expect that in most instances, it would have been correctly spelled. But the word Christian did not appear. Its earliest documentation in the Greek codices appeared in the Codex Alexandrinus, which is currently dated to the 5th century Common Era. Okay, enough of the talk. Let us get some evidence in. In the Codex Vaticanus, dated 4th century Common Era, we read, the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. According to Codex Bezae of the 6th century, the exact word used in Acts 11:26 was Christianoi. The disciples were first called Christianoi in Antioch. In the Manichaean manuscript from Kelis, dated 4th century CE, Jesus is referred to as Jesus the Good, and the text reads thus: I, Mani, the apostle of Jesus Christus, and all the brethren that are with me. Alexander of Lycopolis noted that Christos, which means the good, is found throughout the Manichaean texts. The earliest appearance of the word Christian was not until 450 Common Era. This was found in the Greek New Testament of the Codex Alexandrinus. So, why not Jesus Christus? Why not Jesus the Good? Why is it so important to transform Jesus Christus into Jesus Christo? And we should point out that in antiquity, the word Christo does not share similar meaning with the word Christo. The word Christo makes reference to a king. Jesus clearly did not come to be king after the order of the religious self-consciousness. Jesus' message did not fit into any of the organized religion of his time, as will be proven as we continue in this series. Jesus' message was not about listening to a religious leader and conforming to what he told you. Jesus' message was that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and you should seek from within you. Jesus had a different gospel from that of the religious self-consciousness. Jesus proclaimed a kingdom that was by no means religious. The kingdom that Jesus revealed to his followers was a self-governing kingdom. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Seek from within you. Seek until you find. But this message did not fit into the agenda of the early Christian church. In fact, it does not fit into any organized religious institution. Religion is about lording it over others. Religion is about getting people to conform to belief systems and rituals of a few. This new wine could not fit into the old wineskin. We make note of a very interesting citation taken from Lactantius 240 to 320 CE, and it reads as follows. For Christ is not a name, but a title of power and dominion. For by this the Jews were accustomed to call their kings, and on this account we call him Christ, that is, the Anointed, who in Hebrew is called the Messiah. By either name, a king is signified. Now, this fits into the old wineskin. According to Lactantius 240 to 320 Common Era, we present to you a Jesus of the order of the religious self-consciousness. We present to you a Jesus that, like ourselves, will have power and dominion over you. Behold your King, the Anointed One. So somewhere between 240 to 320 Common Era, Jesus was made King of the Jews. He was made king of a group of people that, until this date, refuses to recognize his kingship because he was never anointed king. In closing, part 1 of this series, I would like for you to take this very important thought into consideration and with you for introspection. The Christian church, as we have it today, was institutionalized at the First Council of Nicaea in AD 325. And institutionalized Christianity is founded on Jesus as King and Messiah. And the beast stomped the remnant of the cosmic consciousness under its feet. In part 2 of this series, we will look at the many definitions of the word Christus and why a distinction is very important where Christos and Christus is concerned. Have yourselves an inspiring week, and as always, aspire to become full.